as a woman, I have to be better than any guy that just decides they want to pick up a bass one day and be in a band.
Now the wound has begun to turn, another lesson that has gone unlearned. But it is not a cry for pity or for sympathy.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I miss you like I miss Texas. We didn't have any recordings, no website, no social media. We had a friend meet us at a gig, and she took some photos of us with our instruments, and that got onto the internet. And all it was a picture of us, and it said the Women of Western Swing, and it was like 5 women holding instruments. And we started getting gigs that were better than we had ever gotten.
I decided I was going to be a musician when I was 17. My parents raised me to be an athlete, and that's what I like to tell people all the time, not to their detriment whatsoever. It instilled a lot of really wonderful values in me as a person. My mom, whenever I was like 5, it's a really vivid memory for me, was joking that she was saying we needed a doctor, a lawyer, or a vet in our family. And I, at 5, was like, all right, bet. If I am not a doctor, a lawyer, or a vet, I'm a disappointment to my family. And so I just spent the remainder of like my childhood until I was 17 just like doing everything that everybody else told me to do, and like doing all the stuff that like I was presented with this like path that was making me feel like I wasn't getting to be myself or wasn't getting to express myself.
Another face with a name on a square card. Careful caution taken every time. Better watch for the ones with a good heart. Sell souls for a few on the side. We don't have the time to waste. Worried that we'll lose a race. Hurry now, shorter days.
When I was 17, I was in a really, really depressive low, and I got into poetry at that time frame early on in the year, and I started a poetry blog, and it was called A Mad World Made Me. I loved that poetry blog, and I go back to it sometimes. It's really funny. I have like all these really sad songs that play in the background like automatically, like on MySpace or whatever. And they're like My Chemical Romance all-time low, just me being like so sad. But I was secretly I didn't tell anybody this, but I joined the poetry club. I secretly became the president of the poetry club.
1, 2, 3. Big Cedar Fever was my first band that I started and that I've like put my heart and soul into. Before that, probably for a handful, maybe 5 years before that, I spent my time backing other people up, playing upright bass and rhythm guitar for other bands. This has been the first project that I've gotten to write the songs for and have participate in arrangements and things like that. I think Big Cedar Fever started like 2018, and it was, I think, 2019, late 2019 before the Women of Western Swing really decided to be a band. But the other thing too is that everyone in that band has their own bands, so we're very like, when it works, we're a fair weather band.
Don't forget, the word is ours. Planet Grim, I'm glad you came. Never. So my biggest hump that I try to get over nowadays is not release music as often and just release projects like maybe once a year. That's just like I worked on so hard and like it's anticipated enough to where that way I can get streams. You know what I mean? And one of the biggest humps to get over for all artists is like, God forbid you can be a musician and like eat. You know what I mean? The money is not there for independent artists nowadays, especially with Spotify and stuff. Like, you can make millions of streams and not even make $500. You know what I mean? And it's kind of just, they're kind of just screwing you over. And as far as shows and stuff too, especially here in Austin and in San Marcos, like, it's really just pay to play. Like, you got to pay to do shows instead of them paying you. And you're the one bringing out a crowd, which is kind of just like, you know, you get screwed over. But hopefully we can change that. You know?
I started live streaming on a live streaming platform called YouNow. And I was just singing to songs that were playing as I was just like listening to music and like writing poetry or like talking to these strange people on the internet that were like really supporting me and were like really genuinely interested in the fact that like, hey, you have a really lovely voice and you're a very interesting person and you have a lot of thoughts that like I enjoy. And so it was kind of like finally getting support on the side of my life that I felt wasn't getting the interaction that it needed.
Before the pandemic, I really think I was very close to like burning out because I spent so much time posting to Facebook, posting to Instagram, sending emails, figuring out, you know, do we need PA, driving distances, like the manager, like the administrative tasks are so time consuming that how can you be an artist? It's like there's no time to like be even a human being. Like I have booked one tour for August of this year, and all those contacts that you spent years making by all these cold calls, all these emailing, all this stuff, and then you build up this rapport, and then over the last 2 years everybody's lives have changed. And there's been plenty of places that I've reached out to, and these people are like, yeah, I don't work here anymore. Everything like this is irrelevant to me at this point in time. Good luck out there. Or it's been a challenge. Yeah, just to create a sense of importance out of nothing. We did live streams for a while, for a few months, and that was great. And then just kind of embraced the nothingness. I kind of let music go for probably a year and just focused on other things. And that was good for me. It felt good to like just not even worry about it. But we also lost a ton of momentum. There was a lot happening. Like I felt like we were at the point of like our hard work was feeling like it was going to pay off, and then it was gone.
My freshman year of college, I ended up writing a song called Insomnia in a hookah lounge called Bad Habits in San Marcos, and we ended up like putting that out, and it was pretty fucking sick. But it also wasn't made in the vision that like is my music. Like it was a song that I wrote. It was like the poetry that I wrote, the voice that I had to put on it was there, but the emotional impact that I had, that I felt, I wasn't like capable of transmuting that through that song because it didn't really feel like mine, because I was relying on somebody else who he just knew how to do a thing I didn't know how to do. A lot of the problems that I've had as an artist has been revolved around my sense of trust being kind of very like in myself and my own personal intuition being challenged because I've been in a lot of situations where it didn't work out for me. Like I did trust very deeply certain individuals, like producers, for example, that I like formed bonds with, formed connections with, and trusted them with my projects, with my art and whatnot.
It's been an interesting experience, I think, for everyone in the Women of Western Swing. One of the other gals in that band has her own band, and does something similar to what I do. I mean, we all play Western swing music, but we're both have spent a lot of years working really hard to promote ourselves and our music. But these people that booked us had never heard our music. We had no professional, no website. We had nothing to show. It was literally just a picture of some women like wearing some lipstick and holding instruments, you know? And so it was kind of weird.
So somebody was trying to like little bro me, you know what I mean? And tell me, why do you release albums instead of singles? And I see why he says that, because people are not going to often listen to an entire album all the way through unless you're like their favorite artist or something. But I'm trying to be their favorite artist. So I don't care what they say. What I would tell any artist that's struggling with, you know, figuring out a structure to release, I would say just trust your heart, but also you do have to have a plan. It's more about the advertising more than anything, really.
We had done the Ameripolitan Awards in Memphis, and that's where we won some awards and stuff. And it's this big networking for anyone that likes Western swing, honky tonk, rockabilly, and everyone's like dressed to the nines. Like it's a very much like a fashion show about music more than it is anything. But we met a guy there, promoter kind of dude, and he was in LA, and we were touring out there anyway. So I reached out to him. He asked me a few days before. He was like, "Can you make a video of you like promoting this show, or for your band? I need a video to promote your band at this show." And we were at this. It was like, I don't know. We were at this gig that had a pool and a hot tub, and we were all kind of hanging out in the hot tub. And our fiddle player Ian, I was like, we'll just get a quick video of you, because I don't like to do like the public speaking stuff. If there's any kind of announcements or like, I just like to pass that stuff on to them, because Nick and Ian are way better at it. But I was like, I'll just get a video of Ian in this hot tub, and it'll be like really, because we're silly. And he's like sitting in the hot tub, and he's like, "Come on down to this show," and he's like bubbles everywhere, and he's like obviously doesn't have a shirt on, you know, and it's just like really like schmoozy and hilarious. And I sent it to him, and he was like, not funny. Like it was not funny to him at all. And he was like, "I need you to send me something that's he's like, "I want you to make the video, not the boys in your band. I need you to make the video." I would never do anything like that. Like this is not me. This is not our band. So finally I gave in, and it was like outside of a gig. It was really windy, and I was sunburnt, and I'm like standing there, and I'm squinting because the sun's in my eyes, and I did like front camera, and I'm like, yeah, just come to this show. It'll be great.
There's so much pressure on us to be exceptional and to be like an exception to what society is kind of or the patriarchal system that we live in is kind of painted to be like the norm or the standard, where like women are actually up here, men are here, and like, you know, we just deal with a lot. Like, especially when it's a man, like a male producer, right? You like tread these really weird fine lines of trying to figure out whether or not their intentions are good with what they're doing or with like the work that you're putting in. And you like are hyper aware of the fact that like at any moment this situation that you thought was good could totally just flip, and you could just genuinely not have anything to show for it. And then it turned into a really unfortunate circumstance of them actually having those ulterior motives and wanting to make it, to objectify me and to kind of treat, like the wording was like, "Oh, we should celebrate finishing your EP," and like with a subtle gesture of like a hand on the shoulder, and me just being confirmed in all my validation or all my thoughts and questions of saying like, "Oh, I knew it." Like it was almost freeing in a way of whatever like that situation happened, because in that moment I was like, I cannot actually depend on like other people to do this for me. This is something that I have to do on my own. And one of the last things that person said to me was, you're going to keep making the same mistakes, kid. And like it burned in my memory when he said that, because I was like, no, I'm not. No, I am not.
Well, the thing is that I don't remember a time where I've never wanted to be a musician. So it was just my life from the start. I was never just I never wanted to be a normal guy or do a normal job or something like that. I always just wanted to be a musician. I always wanted to be on stage. So I don't know what it's like to not be a musician.
You just have to do it because you have to do it. You got to want it. You got to need it. And that's the best advice I ever had about being a musician in general and doing that for a living. It's not easy and it's not always fun. But if that's what you have to do, then you just got to do it. Yeah.
I've really been able to let myself trust again now that I know that I am in a better place to know what I want out of my career. I know what my sound is. I took the time to learn my craft and be a better musician, and now I'm just getting to a place where I'm demoing all of my songs to get them produced and giving myself the space in the room to build off of those ideas and not be stuck thinking about how is this going to be perceived by other people. I'm just this is my story and these are my experiences. Enjoy.